Good evening, and thanks for joining. How's it going? Let's see who's here. I want to set Instagram up. Welcome if you're joining from Instagram. Hey there. Oh, you answered the question, Juan. Ascend. Yes. Hey, Dana. I haven't seen you in a minute. Dana, welcome. And thank you, Karen, our beautiful Harlem Sentinel. Thank you so much, Karen, for being here. I have a question that I posed, and let me know. Drop it in the chatmosphere. All right, drop just one word for me. Now, tonight, I don't want to debate anyone, okay? I don't want to prove anything. I just want to explore something together because I've been noticing a pattern, and you may have noticed similar patterns. Everywhere you look right now, people are talking about transformation, and they're talking about light bodies. And let me know if the sound is good also, okay? So they're talking about light bodies, they're talking about ascending, leaving this world behind. We've heard that before, right? And becoming something more. And I understand the appeal because if we're honest, this world, it feels tired, doesn't it? It feels unjust, and it feels like things are happening and nobody is answering for them. So, of course, the idea of just rising above it all sounds beautiful. And I started asking myself a question, not to argue, just to understand. What if the Bible already talks about transformation, but not in the way we've been hearing it? What if the story isn't about escaping the body, but about being given a new one? And not everyone receives the same kind. What if there are different kinds of resurrection, different kinds of bodies, different roles in the world to come? What if some are raised into something incorruptible and others are raised back into life, still learning, still choosing? And what if the next world is not the end of the story, but the place where everything is finally brought into order, where nothing is hidden, where nothing is ignored, where justice actually lives? So tonight, I just want to walk through a thought experiment. No pressure, no forcing beliefs, just looking at what scripture actually says about the body, about resurrection, and about what might be waiting on the other side of this life. How does that sound? Let's see. Welcome. Hey there. And thank you again if you're joining on Instagram. I want to get into this subject, okay? It's really been, like I said, who scrolls like TikTok? I love TikTok. I call them the TikTok prophets. The young people are so wise. The ones that I come across, the ones that are in my algorithm. TikTok delivers me to the best content. I really get a lot out of it. Now, I have been hearing about Ascension for a while. So Juan, you mentioned Ascension. How about anybody else? I dropped the question. Where is it? Drop one word in the chatmosphere: ascend or resurrect. What what would you say? I know, okay, Juan said ascend. And how about anybody else? Great. I'm so glad you're here, Dana. We've missed you. All right. So the sound is good. Thank you. Now, Juan said reincarnation as a question. Now, reincarnation is something that we've heard all of our lives. It's a certain or certain religions, spiritual systems believe in reincarnation. I've never ascribed to it. I've listened to it, but personally, I don't know. I just never thought about coming back in cycles upon cycles upon cycles. It just never connected. But now, when I look at scripture, especially I told you I've been looking in the book of the apocryphal books, okay? And the book of Ezra, or it's pronounced Esdras, okay? This is the Ethiopian Bible, and I love how the poetry of it is so beautiful. Who agrees? Who reads the Ethiopian Bible? I have completed second Esdras. Okay, so a lot of people that believe in the short season. Have you heard the short? If you're new to the short season, I doubt many of you are. We tend to wind up in the same rabbit holes, and the people who went into the rabbit holes in 2020 of the mud flood, we wound up somehow in this short season. And I listen to the thought leaders in the field of scholarship, which is very new. And a lot of people don't try to come off as experts because this is not something we were taught in church. This is definitely not your Sunday school standard fare. And I can't imagine trying to bring this up to a pastor at this point because they don't like when you bring up things like the apocryphal books and things like that. Remember, we talked about that before. It's kind of frowned upon to read the book of Enoch, which is mentioned in the canonized version of the Bibles, the translations, mentions Enoch and the book of Enoch. So I finally got over my nervousness of whatever that conditioning was of not reading the apocryphal books. And I started with Enoch. And I was blown away because it really explained a lot about evil and some of the knowledge that we have and who exactly gave us this knowledge. And we hear about Greek and Roman, the pantheon. That's always something that is known. And what is it? I read the Epic of Gilgamesh. So then you start learning about the Anunnakis and all of that. And this stuff is now being talked about so openly. It's not in hush hush tones or, tinfoily. But I wanted to do this as a thought experiment because, again, this is new for a lot of us. And of course, being grounded in the Bible, and comparing notes is good. And I'm open to your thoughts. I like I said, I want to hear what you're thinking. I want to read it in the comments, okay? So let's see. I want to start off with, let's see, if anybody else is here, I just want to welcome you now. I'm going to jump in and get to this subject. Okay, so it's entitled Resurrection versus Ascension, a thought experiment. So we're talking about Ezra. And if you do want to read this wonderful book, if you do have the apocryphal books, I started out with second Ezra, and I want to read first Ezra. So if you want, we can talk about Ezra, the different things. I wrote a lot of notes in my Bible here. And again, like I said, I love how things are worded. It's very poetic. It's something different to it. I can't explain it. Do you all know what I'm talking about when you read the apocryphal books? They read so beautiful. So all right, let me just get into this again. Like I said, I know I can get off on my tangents. So the Ascension is talked about in maybe New Age circles, and this is no debating. If you are part of the New Age movement, no debate. But the thing about the New Age thinking about this is that you activate yourself into this light body. Am I wrong? But that's where I have some notes, if you don't mind, I'm referring to. That's the thing that I've noticed about the New Age explanation is that you generate this. It's all your ascension through consciousness and things like that. So it's all driven by self. And that's something that is different from what the Bible says about ascension, resurrection, that it's something that's given, right? It's not about you coming into consciousness, in other words. If you want to put anything in the chat about that, if I got it wrong, I'm open to you explaining and correcting me, okay? But that's the thing. It's like there are competing stories about what happens to the body. Now, that's what everybody seems to be interested in, every body. And your body being the suit that we're here on this earth in. This body prone to corruption, aging, illness, and death, and not perfect, incorruptible. So when you have this one competing view of what happens to the human body and who has authority over your transformation, when you look at the light body ascension narratives as they're commonly taught, again, it's about human beings self-evolving into higher frequency beings. And the earth is referred to as Gaia. And some people think that the earth is going to initiate the upgrade. You've probably heard of the Schumann frequencies and things like that. So these are some of the terms you'll hear. And you don't hear about judgment, right? No court, no reckoning. Transformation is automatic or earned through awareness, and the body becomes unnecessary. No eating, no decay. And that's what I heard some of the young people talking about. They're tired of eating food. A lot of people are tired of eating meats. They want to eat better and more ascended foods, which I can understand where people are coming from. They want to live a cruelty-free life. And that's how they see, themselves doing it. Hello, Game Monkey. Welcome. Let's welcome Game Monkey 82. I love the name. So this is a great thing. Welcome if you're coming in at any time, because I may not see you, but I want to welcome you. So this story of ascension through your own will is self-exaltation through awakening. Okay. Now, when you look at the other thought, you look at the biblical narrative, and the Bible doesn't deny transformation. It affirms it strongly, but it places it under authority, judgment, and redemption, not self-activation. Do you see the difference? And that's the anchor. And you can look to scriptures like 1 Corinthians 15:42 through 45, and it would read, "It is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised a spiritual body." So you notice something powerful there. The Bible does describe a transformed body, but it is raised, not self-generated. It comes after death or resurrection, not through frequency tuning. It's a different mechanism. So you see the differences. If you again want to add anything to what I've said here. Now the missing piece, like I said, with the more new age school of thought, is judgment. That's missing. I don't, like, some people don't think we deserve judgment. The Bible does say in Hebrews 9:27 that it is appointed unto men once to die, but after this the judgment. No detours or bypasses with that. So the biblical model says that life is a test and a testimony. We talked about that when I talked about the Ezra, that we get this wrong in this life. Some people look at it as a simulation, a university, and we fail these tests, repeatedly fail them, because we're in a fallen body. If I don't think we could debate that, really, that we're in a fallen state. We're not in a perfected state. And we know it because we age and we die. And a lot of people get ill. So there's no way to think that this is perfection. I can't imagine anybody thinking that. So because the only thing that explains it in terms of why we die, why we get sick, why we age, is because of the fall of mankind, the fall through Adam and Eve, what happened in the garden. And that's what grounds this whole story. And death in the biblical model is a transition. And death is just such a scary thing to people. You know that I want to have these discussions more and more so that we can openly talk about death in a balanced way, in a healthy way, and not have all of the scariness surrounded with it, and just this unknown. There is a way to know these things. It is not unknown. Now, judgment is real, and resurrection is granted. It's not assumed. Now, the other model, Ascension, or I'll say New Age model, says that life, again, is a learning simulation. Death is optional and flexible. That's where you hear a lot of people wanting to hack life and to extend their longevity through, Brian Johnson. He might be the poster boy for this, where he has blood transfusions from his young son. And we've heard about blood boys. You've heard about blood boys and blood girls. They are young people that donate person to person, like just a direct blood transfusion to an older person. And this is something that's going on. And Brian Johnson does a lot of things. He's a really rich tech bro. You have to be really wealthy to do a lot of this youth stuff. It's very expensive. And some people go as far as the rumors and conspiracy theories we've heard about, say, Walt Disney, who is cryogenically being kept until some other time when they're going to do a resurrection or reanimation, sort of like Gilgamesh, right? Back to Gilgamesh. And they said that they found Gilgamesh's resurrection chamber over in Iraq. Was it Iraq or Iran? Was it in Iran? Fact check me, please. But that was the story, that they found the resurrection chamber. And when I looked at that picture, I know I shared that picture a few years ago on my old channel. When I really studied that picture, I don't know about you all, I started seeing some janky things about the picture. They had Gilgamesh. Remember, he had the really pretty curls, those little Shirley curlies, and his features were very strong and amazing. He was supposed to be very tall. I forget his height, but he's in this what do you call it, hermetically sealed chamber. So it was Iraq. They found the tomb of, or the, what are we calling it, his Ascension chamber. It was in Iraq. Thank you, Karen. So Gilgamesh, or Nimrod, as he's also called, he has many names, but they said that this chamber was authentic. And again, what I did is I kept looking at the picture. And you know what I saw? I told you it looked very janky. It looked like it was cardboard that you just take like gold paint, like spray paint, and there were boxes in there and treasures. Remember, it was like Egyptian artwork inside of this chamber, and it was just something I caught. Maybe it's because I'm a creative person, and I was noticing, how you see the variegation in cardboard. Well, that's what it looked like to me. There was some kind of variegated cardboard stuff, and again, it looked like they had spray painted it with gold spray paint. And I'm thinking, wait a minute, are they pulling our leg here? What's going on? But okay, that was the narrative. But it's just to make the point that this is something that has been going on for a long time. People have wanted to hack life and avoid death, and they think they have the blueprint on how to do it. But nobody has been able to do it except for one. Just one, ever. So, in terms of one, and then he was the blueprint for the first group. Because if you ascribe to the short season, you will see that we've been lied to about what happens in terms of the second coming of Jesus. It already happened, and the millennial kingdom already happened, and the saints and everybody was already resurrected with Jesus Christ for his resurrection. He already came back because he told the people in his generation that many of them would not taste death. Remember, that was what he said. He didn't say 2,000 years later. He said, I'm coming back quickly, soon. All of the words that mean I'm coming back real soon, y'all. So I believe him, and I don't believe that he was talking to our generation. It doesn't make sense. So now that we've gotten a lot of that cleared up and we can listen to people reason through this, because that's all we're reasoning through the scriptures, making sense of it. And if all of that has happened already and we're in some short season of deception, that's not hard to believe. Because even down to when Jesus came back, we've been deceived about. Our churches have led us astray. I'm sorry if I offend you, but I've been a church girl all my life, and I feel a certain way about how churches teach about this. I'm really concerned. So back to people that do not want to die and feel that they have the cheat code to avoiding death. So the New Age model of Ascension believes that life is a learning simulation. And again, death is optional and flexible, and judgment is dismissed. Like, no judgment for us. We just get to go into the great whatever and nothing. We don't have to answer for anything that we've done in this life. That's what it seems to, give. And transformation is an entitlement, in essence. So it's two entirely different schools of belief: transformation via ascension or resurrection. Now, if you look at Esdras, it sits in the middle of this. So again, if you look at second Esdras or Ezra, it leans into judgment, for one, and the fate of souls, the weight of choices, and the delay between death and final transformation. It doesn't paint a carefree ascension. It paints something more sobering, but also more meaningful. Okay, so let's talk about this aspect of light bodies versus glorified bodies. And again, I'm not attacking anyone's belief system. The idea of a transformed body is interesting because scripture, again, also talks about a body that changes. The question I ask is, who initiates the change to your body? Is it you, your consciousness, and your choice to do this according to light codes? And I mean, some people talk about, I guess, solar flares that will enact these ascension codes. And again, it's, where do we get this? Like, how do we anchor this kind of belief? So it just opens the door for questions. Who initiates this truly? Now, the biblical, another scripture in Philippians 3:20-21 says, he shall change our vile body, that it may be fashioned like unto his glorious body. When you think about that word, you break it down, glorious body. Isn't that amazing? I never stopped to really ponder this. It's truly amazing. And I'm amazed that we don't talk about it more. We worry so much about this life that we're in. We're so busy and weighed down with the cares of this world that we don't think about how amazing the next world is. We're so scared. So the mortal resurrection we talked about, as opposed to the immortal. So there will be mortals that will be resurrected into mortal bodies, and there are people that will be resurrected into immortal bodies. And the mortals will be coming back to the earth realm, to the new earth, though. Okay? And in Daniel it says, many that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, not float away now or dissolve, but awake. That's amazing. I'm excited. So this is the closest that I could think of this light body. And the difference biblically being given this body that is incorruptible and it's not frequency based. And it still interacts with physicality, like Yeshua, Jesus Christ. He ate a fish sandwich. Okay. He had food and he walked through walls. He was able to walk through solid matter. So this idea of just floating into nothingness, that's another way of thinking about it. But the biblical anchor to it is to look at the blueprint. Is that, yeah, you'll be able to eat food. I don't know what kind of food. I'm just looking at the fact. I say he ate a fish sandwich because that sounds delicious. I'm sure it was delicious. But he ate fish when he came back. Jesus. So that just makes you think about this whole idea of what is it that will be made of? It is still a body. Okay. So he ate food. Luke 24 is one of the references, fish and honeycomb. And why that matters is that the resurrected body is real. Like I said, it's not vapor, but it's a physical body that's transformed. And it's not dependent, but it's capable. So it just dismantles some of this. We become pure energy beings. It just grounds it and anchors it more. Now, there are various types of flesh bodies, right? We have the flesh of men, and we come in all different types of hues and things like that, features, but that would all be the flesh of men. Sorry, ladies, I'm just using that term, okay? Male-centered, patriarchy, yes, I'm all about it, okay? All right, so then we have the flesh of beast, your pets, your animals, your cattle. That's a certain kind of flesh. When you look at your animals, they have skin and their flesh is different from our flesh. If you've ever had, an animal that had a wound, I've done wound care on my pets, and cats have a different healing mechanism than dogs, if you know what I mean. So it bears to witness that they have their own special flesh. Every animal of, the kingdom of animals, they all have special flesh. And the birds have flesh. Some of you eat the flesh. You fry a chicken, that's flesh. So birds have a certain flesh. Get my words tongue-tied. Then we have the flesh of fish. If you've ever fished or, grilled fish or whatever, some people eat the jerky, the skin of the fish, right? The crispy part of the fish. That's flesh. That's fish flesh. So they have flesh. Then you have the celestial bodies. Now, it says a lot about them in the book of Enoch and the book of Genesis, the celestial bodies. Some believe they're angels. If you look to the Bible, angels had their assignments. Then you have the greater light and the lesser light. I ascribe to biblical cosmology with a firmament and the waters above and the waters below gathered, and the earth being the dry part that came out of the waters. So there is a certain flesh to the celestial bodies. And then there's a certain flesh to the terrestrial bodies, which includes the everything that you find in nature. If you look at a plant and you look at the leaf, you touch it, it has flesh. If you have a rose and you touch the petal, it has like a velvety flesh to it. So there are, you see, different various types of flesh and bodies. And this is just all part of creation, this world. And all of this flesh will be transformed as well. There's a resurrection for the entirety of this, okay? So I know a lot of people want to ask about their pets and things like that. All right, so there isn't just one kind of body, like I said. Creation already runs on multiple body forms. So the idea of different post-death bodies is not strange. It's actually biblical territory. Let's see what you all are saying. You're agreeing? Oh, Karen mentioned something about Gilgamesh. You said it was also said that they found a 3,500-year-old Gilgamesh dream tablet. Wow. Interesting. Fascinating. All right, so now the resurrection carries justice in it. It's, that's embedded in the resurrection is justice. Mercy is big, okay? The mercy seat of the Most High Yah and the authority, because there will be no questioning authority. We have a lot of disrespect for authority because we have so much corruption in we look to our government a lot because that's our highest, I guess, earthly form of authority. And at this point, like I've said, there's no reforming human government because it is a reflection of the human heart. And the human heart is very corrupt, as we can see. We look to our government, all the governments around the earth realm, they're all corrupt. And there's no reforming them. You can vote in somebody who's a little bit better, but there's nothing perfect about it. But it will be a time when we will see, there's the hope right there, is that justice will be restored, real justice. Mercy goes along with justice. I know a lot of times we've been encouraged to leave out mercy because we want to see people get their just due. But that includes us too. If we're looking at people that transgress God's laws, it's us. Because if you transgress one, you might as well have done it all. That's how holy and good the Most High Yah is. So when we want to see people get justice and whatever they deserve, we have to also look at ourselves. And it's very humbling because nobody is perfect. When you compare yourself to the Most High Yah, whoa, we want mercy. So I think people are sensing and they're longing for this glory, this promise. They have a hunger but it's just coming from a different source. And that's why I want to have this, this thought experiment, just talking about this more and more. So when we look at, all right, say the mortal resurrection back to the new earth realm. So there are two core outcomes, a mortal, like I said, and an immortal. So the mortal resurrection back to the new earth realm, you can look at 2nd Ezra, which suggests that the earth gives up the dead and people return to awareness. There is a process. It's not an instant final state. So this lines up with Daniel. Many that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake. Not float away, not dissolve, but awake. What if resurrection for many people isn't, again, the final form, but a return to embodied life, still capable of choice? Now, resurrected bodies and beings are not robots, still have choice and will. But imagine having an opportunity to live again on the new earth under real authority. That's judgment. I know we think of judgment as, again, I talked about this before, like fire and brimstone and the lake of fire, and you're going to be burning forever and ever and ever. I was misguided because hell was talked about in church. It was a way to scare people. And a lot of people wish hell on people. But you've heard people say, I don't have the power to put you in hell or heaven. And that's very true. We don't have the power to put anybody in a hell. Some people think that we are currently living in hell. A lot of people think that. Now, when I talked about people still having a choice on the new earth, when they awaken into a mortal body, they have a choice. But they are going to make a choice under better circumstances because their mind, and you talk about having a reformation, a true reforming. It's remedial. Somebody mentioned this. I told you on a channel I love to listen to a couple, and they mentioned like the wife said it's like detention. And I thought about that and I laughed. I was like, that's a good way to think about it. It's like going into detention. Okay, we've all been bad. We've transgressed the law. Everybody has. No one is perfect. We need to humble ourselves with that truth. So imagine we get to go together to detention. And I thought about the movie because I'm a Gen X. I love the movie The Breakfast Club. I don't like the Breakfast Club radio show, though. Charlemagne the God and all that. But the movie The Breakfast Club, which is interesting to think about. It's just a fun, like again, like I said, this is a thought experiment. Please don't get all up in your feels about it. But it's a way to think about it. Like, okay, we go to detention, but it's going to be under the government of the king. Okay? King David. Okay? Can you imagine having to answer to the king, being the kingdom that never ends? It's reestablished. The kingship of David. That's amazing. The Most High Yah loved David. His name alone, David means beloved one. So if your name is David or Davis, the last name Davis, that means beloved of the Most High Yah. Yah loved David. He wasn't perfect either. That should give us a lot of hope that King David, look at what he did in his life. But his heart was so turned to the Most High Yah. He never tried to hide his transgressions. He was just honest. He was authentic before Yah. He danced before him. He didn't care. He danced. He was joyful. He had a heart that was unique. And the Most High Yah put the kingdom on it. The mantle of the kingdom is King David, who will rule new earth. That is amazing. Death is relocation. Thank you, Molly. Hey, Molly, thank you. Exactly. It's relocation. And you don't have to pay for the move. It's paid for. You don't get to take any of your janky stuff. I don't care what you think you have. You have a beautiful home. You have nice car and clothes. You have all kinds of designer pocketbooks that are all made in China. Everything's made in China. By the way, China's really falling. We have to really pray for the people over there. There are a lot of believers in China. I am so glad I got to visit China. I had an amazing time on my travels to China. But, I'm just saying that this whole world is being shaken up right now. And China being maybe 80 to 90% manufacturing of all luxury items. I have seen it. I've been to Guangzhou and all those factories that make all this designer stuff that people are selling their bodies. Talk about bodies. You have women that are laying down just to get so-called designer handbags and shoes. And if you go to China, oh my God, it'll break your heart to know that women and men are doing things, trading their body, their temple, to have material things that are made in factories by slave labor over in China. All the same factory, all your designer stuff comes out of there. But that will not be coming with you for your relocation, because everything over on the new earth is all already there for you. Okay? Everything, your housing, your food. It's amazing, okay, to think about. These are for all the people that reject the only way to get an immortal body. That's through belief and submission to the Most High Yah's Son, Yeshua. That'll get you an immortal body, okay? But if you reject him in this lifetime, it's no going to hell to burn forever. I don't ascribe to that. I believe that everybody who rejects him in this life will be awakened out of their grave, will be resurrected into an immortal body, a mortal body under the rod of law. King David will get everybody together, because all the stuff that flies over here, I'll say on the old earth, it will not fly on the new earth. It will not. So still capable of choice, still mortal, still learning, and still capable of obedience or rebellion. That will be a choice to rebel. Can you imagine someone getting another chance to get this right and still choosing to rebel? Well, that lets you know how merciful the Most High Yah is. He is going to give everybody the room and space to make that choice. If they still want to rebel, they will be able to. Very unfortunate if anybody chooses that route. So the immortals, okay, and we have movies, and they tell a lot of truth in movies. The immortals, these are the people that will be resurrected into a different body. It's a glorified body, probably what they like to call a light body. So in 1 Corinthians 15:52, the dead shall be raised incorruptible. This mortal must put on immortality. So this is the cosmic wardrobe. This is amazing when you think about it, that to come back in a body that is incorruptible. Who wouldn't want that choice? I want that for all of us, okay? If there's anything I can say to convince you, please make that choice to come back as an immortal. That's how I want to come back, okay? That's my plan. I put all my faith in the Most High Yah and his son, Yeshua. So this cosmic wardrobe, this is a body that, boy, amazing, okay? When we think about the glorified body, this is not for everyone, okay? I am very sorry. This is according to the scripture. I'm not debating this. I'm just doing the two schools of thought. All right? So it's not for everyone, but the faithful, the covenant keepers, and those aligned with the Most High Yah. Again, who wouldn't want to make this choice? So again, it's the closest thing to what they call a light body. It is given, it's not activated. It is a gift. A lot of people need to humble themselves, thinking that they can activate this within themselves. In this fallen state that we're in, all the deception we have eaten up, they really think that they can activate this stuff in their current state. Are you kidding? I'm sorry. I told you I wasn't going to debate. All right. I'm trying to be open. All right. So, it's incorruptible again. It's not frequency based. And this light body, if you want to call it, this immortal body, it still interacts physically. Again, Yeshua eating a fish sandwich and having some honeycomb, people being able to recognize him, moving and walking and traveling and moving through walls. You're going to travel in a whole different way. So this is a two-tiered reality, basically. The incorruptible, again, is given, not self-activated. We are really deluded in our thinking, our fallen thinking. We think we can do a lot of things. We're very it's like they say narcissism is at an all-time high. People really make themselves into gods. It's nothing new. This is the same deception from the beginning. People who puff themselves up and call themselves God. That's really, I don't know what to say. It's really amazing. So we have New Jerusalem also. That's the inner realm. In New Jerusalem, physical place, but it's an inner sanctum. The nations will walk by its light. New Jerusalem will have a light that the nations on new earth will walk according to the light. Can you imagine? But those nations will be on the outside of New Jerusalem. It's a two-tiered system, but it's based on choice. That's what's beautiful. So the immortal, glorified, and you contrast that The dead will be raised incorruptible. This mortal must put on immortality. Like I said, it's not for everyone. For the faithful covenant keepers aligned with the Most High Yah. And if you want to jot down these scriptures, you want to look these things up and ponder them. And this is just some imagery where you can see the nations and people that will have access to the gates. There will be the gates according to the tribes of Israel. And the Most High on the throne. Imagine being able to approach the Most High Yah. Because having a glorified body allows you to even behold him in his glory, which mere mortals could not handle. It's too much, too glorious. And we have the trees, the healing, the plants. So people that are tired of eating all this crappy food and all of that, we won't have those systems where evil people perpetuate bad health through food. That will be different. And if there is healing that is needed, it is going to be in the plants. So there's a tree of life. And in Revelation 22, it says the leaves of the tree were for the healing of the nations. The nations. These are various bloodlines, Gentiles that are outside of covenant. But of course, anybody can be grafted in. Okay? Anybody who chooses can be grafted in. That's the beautiful part. So let that settle when you think about how beautiful New Earth is. I'm going to say is because it currently is in existence. Our loved ones that have died are over there right now. The ones that have accepted and have been in covenant with the Most High Yah, they have immortal bodies. They have access to New Jerusalem. So we won't have chaotic things going on. No more chaos. But this is a final perfection. Now, there are questions that I know I've wondered. I've wondered things like, what age will people be? Have you wondered that? What age? Some people think that maybe they look to the number 33. I know a lot because Jesus ended his ministry in his 33rd year. And you know, the people that claim to be wise according to the world standards, and they think they have special knowledge and stuff, so you know, they get degrees and they're 33 degrees and all that. So, you know, there are some people that might think that 33 is the age that people will come back. However, the scripture doesn't give a direct number, but it gives clues. And it's possible that the number is out there somewhere because there are many books. And I think we're in a season now where things will be discovered. Like Ezra, for instance, when he went up to whatever the realm that he went up to, and the angel Uriel, the archangel Uriel, gave him the wisdom, the knowledge, and what to write, because he was a scribe. He also went into a field. We'll talk. It was so beautiful. He went into this field to to fast for 7 days in different increments. And he ate flowers and herbs. And that's all he ate were flowers. And he waited until the Most High Yah gave him what to write. But the Most High Yah told him that you write a certain amount of books, but you hold back some of them for the wise. So there are many books out there. If you are truly wise, I think this is the season that some books will be available to the wise. And again, in order to be wise is to seek out the Most High Yah. That is the beginning of wisdom. So Ezra did write many books that were hidden for a period. So maybe the amount of years that people come back might again be in those books. But the hints that we do have, you could look at Isaiah 65, where it says, the child shall die 100 years old. That's not our current reality, but it is a restructured lifespan system. Now, what if resurrection doesn't reset everyone to a baby? Because I know that would be the guess, is that everybody comes back as a baby. But what if people are restored into a prime state of life, whatever your prime is, extended, stable, still human? It kind of feels intuitive. I don't know. What do you think? What age, do you have any guess in terms of what age you think people will come back when they're resurrected? I should start speaking. What age will we be? What do you think about that? Now, I want to talk about this here. Justice. The thing that people are starving for. This is something we do not see in this current earth world system. We do not see justice truly. We see little glimpses of justice, but we truly do not know what justice looks like. And people are starving for it. I think it's somehow deep within us. These are the things that the Most High Yah, he encoded us with. He put the law, he wrote it on our hearts. Everybody really knows right from wrong. They just choose to do wrong and justify it. But really, truly, people know. But because we don't see consequences in this current life, it is demoralizing. I know a lot of people are feeling universally demoralized. Every time you look at the corruption of Congress, you look at the fact that Ilhan Omar is still over here, up to her tricks. She hasn't leered yet. All the leering centers, all the millions of dollars that have been stolen from the trust funds of a real American. We have people that have just been looting us. And it doesn't feel good to know this. It does not feel good at all. And a lot of people are going through a lot right now because we've had a lot dumped on us. We've had a lot dumped on us. The ones that have read through the Epstein files. He is probably this is the biggest example of justice being perverted. We have a narrative that this guy hung himself in jail, right? So what happens? It's just like, okay, so nothing seems to feel right with that narrative. He just got to die and not face real judgment here in this earth. We don't see consequences. And I think it's like an ache, right? Do you feel an ache about it? You look at Ghislaine Maxwell, you hear all these stories, you hear that she's really on the outside and he's on the outside. They're just living their lives on the outside of prison. That, we're being gaslit to think that they really are in prison. Well, her, and then we're being gaslit to think that he really committed unaliving in prison. And all of the horrendous things and details. You might remember the gentleman that he was on TikTok and he said he made the biggest mistake reading just the Epstein files. He just couldn't handle it. And, did you see the person in the airport? It was like a guy walking through the airport. He started crashing out after he read the Epstein files. He was crashing out. And again, you can't read them all. It's so much. You just read a portion of it, and that's enough. Some of it is too much for some people's mental health. Some people do not need to read any of the Epstein files. None of it. It's not for the faint of heart. But this gentleman that read some of the files, the one that I remember, he was in the airport crashing out, just screaming at everybody, like, how can you just go along like everything's normal? Business is normal after the Epstein files. I mean, he was going crazy. Did you see that? It was really sad because you can understand, like, the comments were not clowning him. If you read the comments, I go straight to the comments, right? The comment section is just so amazing. But he was just, people were just, they could relate to his crash out. And I read things, they said, this is the most real response, the most authentic response of anything they've seen. We should all be crashing out after what was revealed that people do to children, to others. The way they look down on people. Ghislaine Maxwell is so disgusting how she looked at what she called Gentiles. But the funny thing and the ironic thing is that she's a Gentile. And Jeffrey Epstein, he was so arrogant. He thought he was a ruling class of some, special line, that he could just do anything to the Goyim, to the Gentiles. Oh boy, will they have a big surprise waiting for them. That arrogance and the way they treat people. The way that Ghislaine, if you read the things about how she treated Virginia Giuffre and the things that she said to her, disgusting. If that's the mindset of people out there, oh boy, will they be surprised again when they have to face judgment. Because as Ecclesiastes says here, 12, God shall bring every work into judgment. Nothing, not hidden, not buried, not forgotten. Every work will be brought into judgment. So if you are feeling demoralized because you constantly see the evil people getting away, it looks like they're getting away with everything, that's not the case. I'm here to tell you that's not the case. What if the next world isn't about escaping, but about everything being brought into order? So everything, justice will be true, it will be fair. Every deed we have done in this life will be weighed. We will have to give an account in a court, the highest court ever. We will have to answer for our secrets. They are not secret. For people that are looking at child, I can't say the word sometimes, looking at children being abused and getting entertained by it, somehow getting a boost of sick dopamine. Oh, no. No, no, no. That will not be hidden. Nothing is hidden. You think Big Brother? You worried about Big Brother? Oh, no. None of our deeds are hidden. Imagine having to give an account for this, having to go to a real court of justice and answer for everything. Your whole life being played out like a reel on Instagram. Imagine. But there is a way to go to court and have the best counselor, the best representative who takes everything you've done and just look, stamp, pardon. That one is mine. I paid the whole price, whatever they did. I know they stole that stuff. They did that. They murdered. They had an abortion or multiple abortions. They lied. Everything. All of it. Washed away, pardoned. I know it doesn't seem fair, but that's how it's set up. That's mercy. You can make a choice. Do you want to go to court and answer for all the messed up things you've done and continue to do? Do you want to just go without? That's like, what do they say? Pro se, going to court pro se. You're representing yourself. I don't think that'd be wise to fool around like that. But there is another option again. It's our choice. I want us all to make the best choice. So basically, resurrection or ascension? I ask you again. Do you want to be responsible for your own ascension? Do you want to wait on a solar flare and a Schumann frequency to come hit you? Or, you want to be sure about that? Are you sure about that? Do you want to take your chances on solar flares hitting your body and you getting light codes and ascending, all generated by you? Or do you want to put your faith in something that you have an anchor? You have receipts. You can literally look it up and say, I'd rather go by this plan here because I can look it up. I got at least some documentation. I'm not just going willy-nilly off of stuff I learned on TikTok. I know I seem angry, but I'm not. Thank you, Molly. Every knee shall bow, every tongue shall confess that the Most High Yah is God Almighty, the highest authority, and shall bow their knees. It won't be a choice. Imagine that. This is a very, very real thing. And it's not up for any reinterpretation. It says every. That means all. So we're at a time where we have to make some decisions. A lot of us are getting old. We're not young. We can't play around. You know, some people chose to take things in their bodies, then now they have some bio weapon in their body. They don't even know what's going to happen. This stuff is like a time bomb setting off. A lot of regret out there. But there's hope, even for anyone that was deceived. Very unfortunate. Lots of deception. Some people still think that stuff is good. They can't even get out of the brainwashing that Fauci and Bill Gates are demons, just about. As close to demons as you can get, along with Jeffrey Epstein. They were all in cahoots. How can anybody think this was good for them? Jeffrey Epstein, Bill Gates, they were all buddies. They planned this pandemic. Bill Gates, who would trust a man who says that the world is overpopulated? Who would trust that? This is the short season because the deception is off the charts. You look at the division in this nation. People are celebrating a near assassination attempt of our leader, of the government. Imagine that, the disrespect. That's what I'm saying. There's no reforming. There's no reform. People will need, if you wonder, how is this going to all work out? It's going to work out because they're going to be under the rod of King David in the new earth. They're going to be resurrected. And they're going to have to live under real law and order. That's what's going to happen. All of these jokers. And they're going to have to face judgment for what they've done. Imagine having to face judgment for unleashing a bioweapon on the entire world. Yeah, they may live in mansions and all of this now. They don't get to take any of that to the new earth. So do not have despair in your heart. Do not be demoralized, thinking that evil will just continue to be unchecked. We don't have a long time to wait. This is a short season. And I believe the Most High Yah, when he says short, when his son says, I'm coming back quickly, it doesn't mean 2,000 years. When it says Satan will be released for a short time, a short season, it is short. And the more you look around, you can see this is not sustainable. We are so divided. There's no bringing us back together. Nobody. I look at this current thing going on. I know a lot of you may not keep up with Meg the Stallion and the basketball player. What's his name? Klay Thompson. And you have women that are so set in their mindsets. They hate men so much. They side with all the whoredom out there. All we have when you look out at the entertainment landscape is nothing but a celebration of whoredom. All over. Whores, whores, whores. And every excuse in the book is given for the whores. The modern woman gives so much excuse for whoredom, upholding whoredom, thinking that this woman deserves a good man, like Sierra and Russell Wilson. So deluded. There's no goodness. There's nothing good about this culture. It's trash. And there's no reforming it. We're at the end of it. We have seen the best of it. It's over. Anytime you have Meg the Stallion and Cardi B and these young women that side with this stuff and celebrate it, you can't say anything critical about these whores. They will come and attack you. You can't say, oh, you're into the patriarchy. Oh, you're male-centered. Yes, I'm male-centered. I'm into the patriarchy. I'm all about a kingdom and a king. Yes. And so will they soon enough. They're going to be forced to be in a patriarchy, a real patriarchy. This is not some goddess stuff. I'm sorry, ladies. You don't get to rule and reign. No. Sorry. You think too much of yourselves. You think you have wisdom to rule over men? You're delusional. You all say, oh, well, if women ran the world, we wouldn't have wars. Oh, really? I know a lot of nasty women that do nasty, dirty things. Look at the news every day. You have women that are unaliving their children, unaliving people, all kinds of things. So you're going to tell me that women are so perfect and good and what? The delusion is off the chart. Sorry, gals. I'm not a gal's gal then. I want the patriarchy of the Most High Yah. I want the kingdom to come. I do want to be ruled over by the king of the universe, not the queen of the universe. Sorry, gals. It ain't happening. You already are ruling and reigning as it is, and you've ruined everything. Look at the Black community. It's run by women. It's a matriarchy. You would have to be a fool to think that's good. That's a curse, by the way, when women rule over men. That's a curse. That's not godly. That's not godly hierarchy at all. You want to live a soft life, but yet you want to run everything. You see what a soft life gets you. Look at some of the examples of a soft life. Sprinkle, sprinkle. All that witchcraft, Jezebel stuff. I'm over it. And it's going to come to an end. We're not going to be subjected to this whoredom and Jezebel spirit anymore. It's going to be brought into submission with an iron rod. Period. I don't care who doesn't like it. It's all here. You cannot give me receipts on women ruling. Well, you had Deborah and you had some. But no, that's not the order of things. There was a reason for Deborah to step in and the women in the Bible. The Most High Yah loves women. He loves his daughters. He wants to give you a real soft life if you would be obedient. You talk about a soft life? Are you kidding? That's the softest life ever. The promises of the Most High Yah, that's your soft life. We need to reject the whoredom, the Jezebel spirits. No, we have to say no and push back on it. Because this whole thing again with this Meg the Stallion, she's named after a male horse. Doesn't that give you pause? Is that not a hint and a half? A male horse. That's celebrated. And women and men more divided over this foolishness. All of the think pieces and everything, men, they're standing their ground. I side with the men on this. That's how you know it's such a divide of good and evil. All the women that are out here making excuses for Meg Thee Stallion. They're totally in opposition to women who have a different mindset that's more grounded in biblical truth. We couldn't be on like two different realms of thinking. But just hang on, ladies. Hang on, gentlemen. It's about to get real good, okay? It's about to get real good. That's my message for tonight. I'm going to sign off here. Molly, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate that, Molly. Thank you. You said this is so needed. I lost a lot of friends this year for talking God in heaven and repentance. That's okay. Everything will be restored to you, Molly. Everything. Even your precious little doggy. All your pets that have died, I believe. Again, this is my thought experiment. All of your precious animals will be resurrected. Okay? They come with flesh as well. All flesh will be resurrected. Is that enough proof? I don't know. You could debate me. But you'll see your doggy again, Molly. Resurrected. So, yeah, it's a lot of hope in this message. We have to just get out of our own way. Stop with all the pride that you can do. Oh, I can ascend. Oh, I said I wasn't going to do this. I'm sorry. But just humble ourselves before the Most High Yah. You do not have the power over life and death. Nobody does. Okay? If you think you do, you'll be arguing with the wind because I'm not going to debate you on it. That's foolishness. So because you don't have power over life and death, you don't know the day that you're going to leave out of here. You didn't know the day that you came here. Stop all the foolishness that you chose to do all this and all. Stop it, okay? We got to stop this. We need to get proof and receipts for all of these thoughts that we have. That's why this is a thought experiment. We have to bring our thoughts into submission, and they have to be grounded in some truth. Otherwise, you're just all over the place, picking and choosing like a spiritual cafeteria. Just picking a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Do you know most of these world religions, their God is a fallen angel? That's who they're worshiping. Nephilim. All those Greek gods, these are Nephilim. We have to wake up. So make the right choice today. You don't have to do some grandiose, over-the-top performative stuff. You can go to the Most High Yah without a middleman. The only middleman is Jesus Christ. Through him, you have to accept him. That's a package deal. But you don't have to go to a priest or anybody. That's what I'm talking about, a middleman. But Jesus is your counselor. That's your lawyer. That's your savior who washed it all away for you. If you choose it, it's like going to dinner and you're ordering everything you think you could afford. You're at the most expensive restaurant and you really think you could afford it all, right? You may have that kind of bank account. I don't know. I don't, but I'm just saying you're getting all the hors d'oeuvres and appetizers and all the top shelf liquor. You're getting full course meal, everything, the top, everything. You got a lobster, whole tower of lobsters and Alaskan king crabs, and you getting the whole dessert buffet, and then the bill comes. And you're like, oops, I didn't know it was going to be this amount. And you have to pay 20% of a tip. Okay. I worked in the restaurant industry. I don't accept anything but 20%. That you have to pay 20% of the bill. All right. So then you have Jesus Christ there at the table. He's like, I got everybody's meal. It's on me. Are you going to argue with him and say, no, I'm paying for my own tab? Would you do that? I'm just saying, it's kind of like that. It's giving that, where you'll just arrogantly say, I'm sorry, Jesus, Yeshua, I'm paying my own bill. And you pull out your black card or whatever card, throw it on the table. But it could have been paid for. All of it, paid for. Make the right choice, that's all. I want to be the part of the immortals. I strongly believe that I'm of the tribe of Judah, truly by blood. I want to go through the tribe of Judah's gate into the New Jerusalem. Yes. I'm shooting for the top, the tippity top. But I'll come and visit everybody on New Earth and everything, of course. I'll be down there chilling with everybody. So that's the end of my thought experiment. 420 is here. Free my soul. I love that. Yes, Molly, I forgot to pull the spoon out. This was definitely one for the spoons. All right, so we're going to continue talking about this. I want to get into the book of Esdras. I want to read some of this to you, read it with you. Maybe we could have a Bible study, huh? A real different kind of Bible study. But it's so many beautiful things here. Like I said, when Ezra had to go away from the people for a period of time so he could get the message, he went into a field of flowers. That's what the Most High Yah commanded, that he go into a field of flowers. I just love the imagery of him going into a field of flowers. He had a whole writing team with him. Okay, so he wasn't writing everything alone. He had a team of writers, and all of them were fasting in terms of they weren't eating any meats or anything. They were eating flowers from the field of flowers. So think of that imagery. It's so beautiful. That's just some of it. I loved it. But I took lots of notes, lots and lots. So if you want, we will talk more about the book of Ezra. I'm going to read the book of Jubilees next. After I read the first chapter of Ezra, then I want to read, well, maybe I'll read Jubilee first and then go back and read the first chapter. I'll see how I'm led. If you've read any of those books, let me know. Let me know what you loved about them, just everything that you're thinking, okay? If this again is welcome to all thoughts. I hope you didn't feel attacked for anything. If you did, I want to apologize. I don't mean to attack anyone's belief system. I just truly want to share what I feel is the best plan for us all. And I have receipts for why I think that. Thank you, Raylene, for being here. I love you. I love you all in the Most High Yah. I look forward to seeing you soon. If you're over on Instagram, I want to thank you for joining. And I'm going to go eat some food. And I will, again, see you very soon, okay? Take care.